PVC, 5-minute epoxy, black locust, will it bow? The issue is that when a board bends beyond what it can handle, it breaks. But when you can take a material that can bend and bend and bend without snapping, you get something special. You see, this one in itself doesn't make a good bow. And as a matter of fact, you would think the one that bends really well would make a good bow, but it doesn't. It's because it's too weak to actually fling back. One's good at compression, one's good at tension. By pairing the two, you get the best of both worlds. This explains bow making. Today's Will It Bow is a test to see if we can make PVC the bendy part, and then a piece of wood, which is great, for the less bendy part. The idea is that the PVC by itself wouldn't fling forward very quickly, but the wood by itself wouldn't bend very strongly. Also, if this plays out, it could be done in one day with this 5-minute epoxy. Instead of flattening out this PVC, I picked this up on Amazon. It's a replacement like industrial freezer door cover thingy. When I worked at Sam's Club, I would walk through these all the time. This right here is thinner than the other PVC, and I figured I could make a bunch of bows out of this if it works great. Plus it's clear so that it'll show the wood underneath, which could look cool. There's another industry that makes a lot of products that are actually really good for bow making, and that's the marine industry. Because they're dealing with fiberglass, they're dealing with glues and epoxies that need to get wet and that can flex in a boat with the waves and all of the different environments that a boat experiences. The materials tend to overlap. I've used a lot of products and finishes from the marine industry on my bow making. Today we've got this 5-minute epoxy. I've never used it before, but it bonds to wood and PVC, so hopefully we'll have success. I'm using black locust because it's the extra material I had laying around the shop. I've never built a bow with black locust. Thought it'd be a fun test here to see kind of how the material reacts. I've got a few more staves that I have some cool plans to do with in the future, but in the case of the wood, I'm using just what I have on hand. I'm sure red oak, hickory, all those good things would work just fine. I first subscribed to Factor 3 years ago, and that's why I'm excited that they're sponsoring today's video. If you're not familiar with Factor, this is how it works. You go online and order chef-crafted, never frozen, delicious meals that just show up on your doorstep. From there, you heat it up and eat it. With protein plus, calorie smart, and keto friendly meals, no matter your eating style, Factor can help. And the best part is that it takes less than 2 minutes to prepare. This is a big one for me because if I can save a little time, it's huge so that I can put more time to things that matter, like family. As a father with 2 young boys, 2 businesses, and extreme hobbies, saving time is massively important to me. No meal prep, no driving to restaurants, and the food's actually good for you. It's not like you're throwing in a frozen pizza that's gonna make you feel like crap. No, you're actually eating something delicious that's gonna make you feel good. This allows me to do more of what I want and less of what I don't. One more quick note, Factor offers these gourmet meals. These are handcrafted by chefs and phenomenal. Last night I ate one of these gourmet meals and it was just on fire. I don't know what wizardry is going on here. I guess it's probably that it's never frozen. The recipes were crafted by professional chefs. That steak just hit the spot though. The way to my heart, steak. Factor's provided me with a discount code so that you guys can get a great deal and great food at the same time. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code Kramer50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code Kramer50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring today's video. We have 2 questions. The first one is, will it bow? Can we get a bow from this thing? The second thing is, will it be an extremely strong bow? PVC is a very strong material and might just be the cheapest, easiest to use, and strongest bow backing. I'm hoping it'll top the fiberglass tape. You don't have to do multiple layers with the PVC, so it'd be less work than the fiberglass tape. And for how many strips you get out of it, you might even get, no, that's wrong, fiberglass tape's still cheaper. But hey, it could be better as far as the strength goes. I just had this terrible idea to where I think that after the bow's built and I shoot and have a lot of fun with it, I should just pull it down on the tillering tree until it breaks to see how much it can handle. Isn't that a terrible idea? So if I'm not mistaken, epoxy being 1 part and 2 parts, will cure in an airtight environment, whereas wood glue will not. What that allows us to do is to use something like plastic wrap as a clamp to get really nice even pressure. So the plan is to mix the epoxy, apply it, we'll lay out our PVC strip, and then we'll take our plastic here, or our stretch wrap, shrink wrap, pallet wrap, whatever it is, and we will wrap it. Okay, I need to cut this PVC to the exact size so that it doesn't bend over the corners. If it bends the corners, it could crown the middle and make it not adhere good. I maybe should have done it this way from the beginning. Just put the board down instead of even marking it. You literally can pretty easily trace it with a knife. All right, we're all set up. We have a 5-minute pot time or working time, and then we have a 30-minute completely cured time. Yeah, that's interesting. So part A, it's a little thicker than I would have thought. It cures an amber color, which is pretty close to the color of the wood we're using, so hopefully that'll look good. Ooh, that one smells like butt. All right, 5 minutes starts now. I'm only gonna apply it to the wood and not the PVC. The PVC should not soak it up much, and that'll help me do it a little bit quicker, which matters today. Let's lay this guy on. Couple pieces of tape. It's actually kind of cool with the plastic wrap and the clear PVC because you can see all the glue and where it's pressing and how it's spreading. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna give it about an hour before we start bending it and using it in our application. And it's time to unwrap this, and my confidence is not that high. Just feeling the epoxy on the plate, it just feels off to me, and I'm not sure if it will hold that PVC. I think it sticks to wood great. Let's find out. I'm gonna give it my best effort, but if this does not work, we will not give up, and we'll try a different type of glue or epoxy. But maybe it'll just work great. Yeah, it's already lifted in specific spots. Well, that's how it looks. It didn't quite work like I wanted. That didn't do nothing. It didn't. Yeah, I just peel it off of this like it did the glue spreader. All of the epoxy's on the board. None of this stuck at all. The better process would be to take maybe 3 or 4 different glues or epoxies, take this, glue it down to a board, and then test them, try to rip them all up and see which one holds the best, and then apply it to your bow after you know what works, right? Well, let's do that now. Okay, here's the test. We're gonna test EA40, we're gonna test wood glue, we're gonna test this epoxy again with extra clamping pressure, and then we're also going to test a industrial CA glue. Just like that. And I will make sure there's no air gaps and we get it spread completely. I don't think this will work. Wood glue. Okay, now let's mix a little bit of this stuff up. Does somebody know if like a PVC pipe and this is like actually the same PVC? Or is there like different types of PVC? Am I missing something? Because this glue is supposed to bond to PVC. Here's some high strength CA glue, that's my favorite. This is our test lineup. Plastic, pressure strip, spring clamps. Okay, this should be a better test. Let's let that cure for ever.
After 48 hours, I made a big mistake. So this is EA40. Nothing. This is the wood glue. Nothing. This is the 5-minute epoxy. Terrible. This is the industrial strength CA glue. Oh, here we go. We might have something to work with here. I got this board flipped around in my mind, and it wasn't until editing the footage that I realized I had this board backwards. So I did an entire glue up thinking I was using the strongest glue when I was actually using one of the weakest glues for this application.
Okay, so this is looking extremely cool. This could be actually a really cool design because it's like clear fiberglass, same effect basically, but even though it's clear PVC matte. The problem, I made one big mistake, and that is I got this board flipped around and I used the wrong glue, and who's up for round 3? After cleaning off the stave and the PVC, we were ready for another glue up. Now we're back on track using the CA glue, and hopefully this time it'll finally work.
This time I used the CA glue. I'm using a second stave as a pressure strip. This helps it all clamp more evenly, and I'm putting a ton of clamps on here because I can. This time the glue up actually looks good and feels good, so I'm going to start working this bow. First, let's clean up the glue lines. Now we can add the grooves to hold the bowstring. It's now time to start tillering. This is the process of getting the bow to bend the way I want it to so that it shoots the way I want it to. I do this by removing material in the stiff parts of the bow. The process is repetitive and goes like this. I test the bow's bend, I mark on the bow where to remove material, I remove material from that area, and then test the bow's bend again. I repeat this until it pulls the right draw weight and bends properly. The important thing is patience. I have never regretted being patient at this part of bow building.
Black Locust is very similar to hickory as far as its wood density and its hardness goes. So my hopes are high for the performance of this bow. Well, I'd say it definitely will bow. It works pretty good. The one downside is that there's a lot of vibration. The Black Locust has more vibration than I thought it would. I did do a 45-pound bow, so semi-heavy. And with the Black Locust, I had to leave a lot of wood there. I don't think the PVC adds a lot of rigidity, making the bow a higher poundage. It's just protecting the back of the bow, and it seems to be protecting it pretty well. I'm not gonna draw it till it breaks, but I do wanna see if I can get like 30 inches, maybe 32 out of this. So this is a 68 inch, I think is what we finished at. And I've shot it about 100 times. I shot it yesterday and today. So that's 28 inches. With this long of a bow, we should be able to get it a little longer. There's 29, that's where I have been drawing it to. That's 30. 31. So that was like 56 pounds, 31 inches. It seems pretty strong. You don't want to draw your bow beyond your draw length. That's not a good idea. I just wanted to test to see how far back I could actually pull this. I'm not gonna break it because I want to keep shooting this later on. I think it's a pretty sweet bow. I think it looks pretty cool with the clear PVC. If you struggle with your backing on a bow, this could be a really good option in order to get a bow to work great. It's not the fastest bow. It's not gonna be the lightest bow. But adding this PVC to any type of wood you want to, I think is gonna make the strength of the bow much, much greater. Thanks for watching. Stay shatterproof. I'll see you on the next video.